So I'm going to have... Good evening and welcome to the Pinellas County School Board meeting Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I call this meeting to order. We are so pleased to welcome so many Pinellas County Schools students and their families and their teachers and leaders here tonight to celebrate your accomplishments. You are truly the embodiment of what we strive for here at Pinellas County Schools, so welcome tonight. I'd also like to welcome a group from the USF St. Pete Summer Civics Institute who's here with Dr. McLaughlin. Thank you for bringing your students here tonight as well. And I also would like to mention an administrative note that while you see 5 board members up here tonight, Mrs. Dawn Peters is unable to join us, and Miss Stephanie Myers is joining us on Zoom. Mrs. Meyer, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. We will begin the meeting this evening with the invocation given by Pastor Augie Allen of Riviera United Methodist Church in St. Petersburg, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chair Caprice Edmond, and then the national anthem. If everyone would please stand and remain standing until the completion of the national anthem. Pastor Augie, good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you to all who have allowed me to serve you in this way. My name is Reverend Augie Allen. I'm the pastor of Riviera United Methodist Church. I'm also serving alongside amazing leaders of the PTSA and magnet boosters at John Hopkins Middle School. Go Trojans. It is my honor to serve you all this evening. Would you mind praying with me if you are comfortable doing so? Holy and loving Creator, we take time to move our minds towards your guidance for this community and consider how we may best represent the teachings that we proclaim within our faith traditions. Many of our faiths transcend our denominational, theological, and ideological differences when we hear the teaching of love for our neighbors. In our Christian teaching, we understand that the love of God and love of our neighbor are where all the laws and prophets are found to be complete. As a country, we pride ourselves on the foundation of the ideals of service above self. Every day, we see the heart of our teachers, staff, administration, and elected officials who adhere to these beliefs of service. As we celebrate our students' accomplishments, we also undertake the work of selecting leaders for our schools, reviewing our budgets, and seeking to lead the community. May we do so with these ideals of loving our neighbors through service. Would we create and support work that feeds the hungry? Would we create and support work that recognizes the individual beauty of every person we meet? Would we create and support work that understands the various ways in which we might have failed to do so? Would we ask for forgiveness, seek to do better, and commit ourselves to this kind of service? God, the beauty of public school lies in the diversity, equity, and inclusion of all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, age, gender, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, their disability, economic status, and other diverse backgrounds. Guide us in this work this evening to represent the best of our community by serving our neighbors to the best of our abilities. Thank you for this time, these leaders, our community, the students, and our schools. May we all be blessed by this work. Amen. The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, stay, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, stay, does that
Thank you. You may be seated. That looked like Tarpon Springs High School to me. Well done. Well done, Tarpon Springs. Next on our agenda, we'll have a video celebrating the 2025 graduations. What a graduation season it was. Let's take a look.
Thank you all for dedicating so much of your time and energy to helping us and guiding us to success both inside and outside of the classroom.
Go and conquer the world!
Legacies aren't limited to the greats. Everyone has a legacy. It's the common link that connects us. And as we add to it, we create something greater together than ever was alone.
Because, Christina, you carry generations of women who couldn't, so that you can.
It's where we found pieces of who we are, in classrooms, on fields, on stage, in the chaos of the cafeteria. We learn to think, to question, and to sometimes to fall, and get back up again.
Go forth, do great things, and enjoy the journey.
Although thinking about leaving a place we got so used to can make us feel uncomfortable or hesitant, this new chapter will allow us to apply the lessons we have learned and control our own decisions of where we want to end up. Although these were great years, the best years await us.
Looking back, high school, like life, is full of opportunities. Some we missed, some we didn't take, and some we don't even realize we're there until it's too late. None of us have it all figured out yet, but if we keep showing up and keep trying and keep moving forward, we'll be just fine.
Look around. These are the people who shared in our struggles, triumphs, and best memories. Let's not lose that. Stay connected, support each other, and always show up for life's biggest moments.
Celebrate, cry, scream or shout even. We'll no longer be students, but alumni. Let your past 4 years pave the way to your new life, whatever your plans may be.
We did not learn how to walk and talk, to not live life to the fullest. We are capable of far more than we think, but first, we have to try and then be willing to fail. As a failure proves that there's such a thing as success. Every risk we take requires courage, and it's that same courage which has brought all of us here tonight.
It's okay to have confidence. Confidence keeps us aiming high. It means believing in yourself, even when the pressure is on.
Not merely because of our own strength did we get here alone. Every step of this journey was built on the patience from our teachers, the love from our families, and the kindness from our peers.
As we look ahead, I'm reminded of something. We're stepping into a world where we control our destiny. Some of us will go on to college, some into the workforce, some to serve our country, and others on entirely different paths that only they can imagine.
So here's to us, the class that will make a great impact in the world. Congratulations, class of 2025.
You know, I often say if you're worried about the state of the world, just go visit a school. Even better yet, volunteer in one. Better yet, be a school board member and get to attend 5, 6, 7, 8 graduations and listen to these amazing young people and shake their hands and look them in the eye. It is truly remarkable. We have extraordinary young people off and into the world, and graduation season was a great pleasure. I'd just like to thank the district who had to do a lot of work to get our high school graduations turned around and held at different locations this year. It was very, very well done. Item 1.6 is the introduction of professional and community organization representatives. Isabel Mascarenas, our public information officer.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Hendrick, and staff. It is my pleasure to introduce the following representatives of community and professional organizations. Representing the North Pinellas League of Women Voters, Melissa Wojcik. Members of the media in attendance are Jeff Solachek from the Tampa Bay Times. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, amendments to the agenda. Mr. Hendrick, are there any amendments to the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was one amendment to the agenda, item 7.5, request approval of personnel recommendations, administrative appointments for 25-26. The item was updated last week to include one individual who was inadvertently left off and 2 whose titles were changed from assistant principal to principal. And that was posted for the board and public last week.
Thank you. Board members, amendments, Mrs. Edmond?
Yes, I would like to pull agenda item 7.24 for discussion.
Thank you. Board members, any other amendments to the agenda? As board chair, I find good cause to amend the agenda as recommended by Mr. Hendrick and Ms. Edmond. May I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as amended? Motion from Ms. Blacksburg and a second from Mrs. Kane. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Should I look for a verbal from Mrs. Meyer or 6-0?
It's unanimous. You asked for negation, and she already confirmed that she can hear.
Thank you. Passes 6-0. Next item on our agenda, item number 4, the special order agenda. This is recognition of recipients of state and national awards, and that is what so many of you are here for this evening. So I'll just say again, you are the embodiment of what we hope for when we set the mission, vision, strategic plan in motion for this district. We are so proud to be with you here this evening. The board members are going to come down so that we can enjoy shaking your hands, looking you in the eye, and taking some photos with you while Mr. Hendrick, our superintendent of schools, introduces the awards. But congratulations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll give everyone just a moment to get down for pictures. And students, as your item is called, you're going to come up this way just to my right, and Isabel Mascarenas, our public information officer, will help guide you up. And then you're going to come across and take pictures individually with, or as a group, I'm sorry, with our school board. We do have a photographer who will do that, but parents or principals or others who are here, if you'd like to take your own pictures, feel free to come right up next to our photographer to do so. And principals or sponsors of these teams, we would love to have you in the pictures as well with our board members. And for all in the attendance, I'm working off of our signed-in list here, so if I missed your name and it was your group, just come on up at the same time. So our first group to recognize tonight is the Florida Federation of Color Guards Circuit Champions. We have 3 state championship teams from Pinellas County. Several color guard teams from Pinellas County earned top awards at the Florida Federation of Color Guards Circuit State Championships earlier this year. There were 3 first place teams, 2 from Tarpon Springs High School and 1 from Palm Harbor. And so first we'd like to recognize the students from Tarpon Springs High School, the World Color Guard and the Arts Color Guard. And here representing the school tonight are Ella Luck and Reef Semple. Come on up. And our 3rd state championship team from Palm Harbor University High School, the Winter Guard. Please welcome the representative, Alyssa Terranova. And by the way, Alyssa was also one of 2 students statewide to receive a memorial scholarship for leadership and inspiration with the Color Guard, and this is Palm Harbor's first ever state championship in Color Guard. Congratulations. Next up, we'll recognize the Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA, state winners. Many students from around our district qualified to compete in the national competition, with 500 Pinellas students competing in the state competition, with 50 who qualified to go to Anaheim, California later this month as state qualifiers. First, we're going to recognize from Countryside High School, Alexander Brienzo, Tanner Ledford, and Matthew Valentine. These students won first place in the FBLA state competition in network design. Next, from Eastlake Middle School, Caden Abul Hassan. Come on up, Caden. Caden won first place in the FBLA state competition in Exploring Parliamentary Procedure category. Board members, parliamentary procedure, in case you need any support. And next up, we'll recognize from Fitzgerald Middle School, Thepalik Champa and Ryan Cutter. Come on up. And these students won first place in the FBLA state competition in Video Game Challenge. Well, come on up. I have to imagine the Video Game Challenge in middle school was quite a competition. We have the state champions. And they're joined by their principal, Aisha Hawthorne. Next up is an individual champion from Osceola Fundamental High School, Sriya Badapati. Come on up. And Sriya won the first place FBLA state competition in healthcare administration, and she's joined by her principal, Mike Bonet. Next, we will recognize from Palm Harbor University High School an individual state champion, Rachel Mesidor of Palm Harbor University High School. And Rachel won first place in the FBLA state competition in Introduction to Programming. And next, we have a team from Palm Harbor University High School. Please welcome Shri Bhumi, Lauren Churchill, and Ravi Puvula. They won the, yes. They won the state FBLA state competition in Partnership with Business Project category. Next, we'll move to the Florida Student Art Assessment Awards. The Florida Student Art Assessment Awards received across the state of Florida more than 1,700 entries for competition. Works that scored a perfect 4.0 from all judges based on a rubric were considered for a top award. And winners from that group were chosen for the elite group that we'll recognize this evening. And we're going to start with Madeline Potts from Madeira Beach Fundamental. And this was the Pinellas County Middle School state winner. And from Gibbs High School, Natalie Gallen. And Natalie won Best of Show in the competition for the entire state. Our next recognition is for the Florida Sunshine State Scholars. In addition to be naming the Florida Sunshine State Scholars, 2 students were awarded scholarships to attend Florida's top-ranked higher education students. The STEM Scholars participated in a statewide focus group with STEM-focused employers. And the winner that we're recognizing tonight is J.C. Burney of Hollins High School. JC joined about 100 other students, juniors from across the state of Florida in Orlando for the Sunshine State Scholars event. Next, we will recognize the Commissioners Florida Academic Challenge State Champions. Teams from across the state of Florida compete in the Commissioners Academic Challenge, and this year, the students from Pinellas County were the Division I state champions. Please help me recognize the following students. Patricia Cruz from Largo High School. James Michalski of Hollins High School. And Brody Whiteside of St. Petersburg High School. These were 3 of 6 students from across our district who won the state championship. Yes, Pinellas County students are the smartest students in the state, and we have the trophy to prove it. This is the 7th time Pinellas County has won the state championship in the nearly 50 years of the event. And congratulations to James, who was also selected for the all-state team and won a $1,000 scholarship as well. Next up is the Odyssey of the Mind Championship winners. And tonight we're excited to recognize the 5th grade team from Eliza Nelson Elementary School. And let me call up Layla Admire, Eleni Demonakis, Dale Dar, Ivy Putnam, and Talon Shabaka. The 5th grade team won the Odyssey of the Mind State Championship and qualified to compete in the World Finals. And I would also like to recognize the 4th grade team for the Odyssey of the Mind, who competed and finished in, that group, the 5th grade group, finished in 5th place in the world, and our 4th grade team secured 4th place in the state and also qualified for the World Championships. Please welcome from Elisa Nelson Elementary, Leo Allison, Lila Hesse, Evan Cook Alvarez, Franca Tachi, and Billy Wilson. Welcome. So if you can't tell, the Odyssey of the Mind World Championships run through Elisa Nelson Elementary School, and we heard from our students that they had an amazing time at the World Finals meeting students from around the world. Congratulations to Elisa Nelson. I know their principal, Ms. Brown, is here as well. Congratulations. Next up, we will recognize students from Pinellas Park High School who won the Top Chapter Award in the Florida Public Service Association statewide competition. The following students are being recognized tonight for their school: Jackson Cooper, Samantha Mayer, Chauncey Morris, Leo Romano. And they are bringing with them their first place finish in firefighting, and this is the 2nd year in a row the group has won the Top Chapter Award. They're joined tonight by their principal, Mr. Jeff Larson. Congratulations. And our next academic award recognizes from Madeira Beach Fundamental K-8 School, Braden Lyons. This is the second time Braden's being recognized in front of the board. Last year, he won first place in the Regional History B and second place in the Regional Geography B. This year, he won first place on the National Political Science exam, making him the United States National Champion in Political Science. The International Academic Competitions Organization oversees a portfolio of academic competitions for students in over 50 countries. Congratulations, Braden. Next up, we'd like to recognize students from Osceola High School, and starting with the Osceola High School State Championship Tennis Team. Please come forward. Hayden Goodridge, Alessandro DiBernardo, and Alex Rangelov, recognizing the Osceola Warriors State Championship Team. They're joined tonight by their principal, Mike Bonet. We'd like to congratulate the Osceola team and their coach, Alberto Lenz. But before they depart, we'd also like to recognize the state champion doubles team, which includes two of the individuals in front of you, Alessandro DiBernardo and Alexander Regalov. And you may notice that Alessandro has 3 gold medals around his neck because in addition to being team champion and doubles champion, he was also the state singles champion. And Alessandro was also named the state's Mr. Tennis by the Florida Dairy Farmers, the state best tennis player in the state. Congratulations, Osceola High School. Come on, Coach. You can't get out of the pictures. Next, we'd like to recognize state champions in the track and field state championships, and we'll start with the 4x100 relay team from Boca Ciega High School. Please welcome Jamari Ward, Conray Jenkins, Keena Taylor, and Walter Florney. This team finished first place at the state championships in the relay in the Class 2A state track competition. They're joined by their principal, Miss Jennifer Gill. Congratulations, Boca Ciega Pirates. Next, we'd like to recognize the state champion in the girls 800 meter, and that is from Eastlake High School, Avery Chapman. We have 2 more state champions to recognize, and they're both from Largo High School. The first is a state champion in girls track, Leanna McClinton. Leanna is the state champion in both the 100 and 200 meter dash in the Class 4A state track competition. She is Largo High School's first girls state champion since 1992, but it is now the third consecutive year a Pinellas County School student has won the 100 and 200 meters in girls track and field. You cannot catch our girls. And our final honoree tonight is also from Largo High School, the Largo High School boys track state champion. Please welcome Barry Williams. Barry is the boys long jump state champion in Class 4A state track competition with a winning jump of 23 feet 2 inches. And his principal, Miss Jennifer Staten, is here with him as well. That is our final honoree tonight. We want to thank all of our families, our state champions, for coming tonight. You are certainly welcome to stay for the entire board meeting or not. This is a great time to exit. Have a great summer.
Wonderful, wonderful energy for all of us to experience that. That was really, really wonderful. The next item on the agenda tonight is public comments on agenda items. Mrs. Hauk, do we have any speakers? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have waited that you were there.
Yes, Madam Chair, there is one speaker for agenda items.
Thank you.
Mark Clutho, speaking to items 7.23, 7.26, and 7.24.
Thank you. Good evening.
Mark Clutho, Largo. Yes. 7.24, annual fire, health, and safety inspections. Identify deficiencies. Well, you know, all of your buildings are creating deficiencies in the world that the students, teachers, and other people must live. Yeah. Altering the climate. Sad state. 723. Here we have your strategic priority, fiscal and operational responsibility. $7 million. $7 million. What's that going to bring? Well, you know, it's more of the same, more of the same. Your stupid buildings. Nothing changes. And what we have is correlation. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, and we get this headline from June 2nd. Top forecaster has urgent message as hurricane season begins. And then the headline right next to that, brace for heat records to be broken. Reports 5-year forecast sees no respite. Well, like I say, there's a correlation with what you have with this building and the other ones that you're doing and these headlines. You have to have a different path. That's the only answer. You have to quit ignoring.
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers for agenda items.
Thank you. We don't have any unfinished business this evening. The next item is item 7, our consent agenda. We'll take a vote on that first, and then we'll move to item 7.24, which was pulled earlier in the meeting. So on the consent agenda, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda? Motion from Mrs. Long and a second from Mrs. Kane. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Moving on to item 7.4. May I have a motion and a second to approve this item? Excuse me, 7.24. Item 7.24. We'll take a motion and a second to approve it, and then we'll turn it over to Ms. Edmond for discussion and the rest of us for discussion, and then we'll take a vote on it. But we have a motion and a second first to move forward with discussion. Motion from Mrs. Kane and a second from Ms. Blacksburg. Mrs. Edmond?
Thank you. I would first like to thank Mr. Herbeck for responding to my questions, as well as the individuals who go out and do the inspections annually. My concern here is regarding missing information and inaccuracies within the report. In my review, there are at least 2 reports citing 0 previously cited deficiencies. However, prior year's report contained the same deficiencies for the same buildings and rooms, which is why I have concerns about approving all of these reports at this time.
Any other discussion? No?
So I guess my question is, if we were to not approve this item, is there a way to remove those that, the particular reports that Ms. Edmond is addressing?
I can give, Mr. Herbeck can give an explanation on the entire piece, because I'm not sure we would agree with that assertion.
So the list of items from each of the schools that were attached is not required to be approved by you. The only thing that you are required to approve is that we submitted and all of the reports to the state. The state only requires us to report 4 things to them. One is the date that we performed the inspection. The second thing is the name of the inspector along with his certification number. The third thing that we are required to report is the confirmation that all fire drills were completed. And the fourth thing that we are required to report on is confirmation that the facility is fire code compliant. When we make these inspections, we schedule a time ahead of time. We invite the fire marshal of every municipality to join us. Most of them send somebody who is trained in the inspections to join us. So most of these inspections not only are conducted by our own staff, who are trained every other year by this Department of Education, but they're also attended by representatives of each of our fire agencies. Again, when we report, the only things that we are required to report to the state are the four things I mentioned earlier. When we go and make the inspections, however, we are expected to note deficiencies, and we are expected to address those deficiencies either through a work order system or through actions that the school can take place or can do on their own. And the reason that we list the deficiencies is we want full transparency, not only to you for the board, but for our community as well. And so that you can take a look at those things from year to year and compare whether the school is making progress and how well they're dealing with fire health and safety issues, and even so to some degree how we are doing with the district. But again, the report that was sent to you and was attached to the agenda item is as a courtesy to you. It's a courtesy to our community, and is not required to be approved at all. One of the things that I would note is that I guarantee that these are a spot in time. This is one day of looking at this facility over the course of 180 days over the school year. I guarantee that if we went at the same team and inspected the same facility the very next day, we would have a different result. Somebody would have plugged in a cord that they or wasn't plugged in the day before, or they unplugged one, or one of these lights, like in the emergency lights up there and the exit lights, one of them may have burned out because a battery went bad. We see that all the time. But again, this is one moment in time, is what this is trying to capture. I don't know which of these two prior year deficiencies that you see that were noted. I would have to say, though, I would like to share that the prior year deficiencies have to be back-to-back years. So if they occurred 3 years back, and then the school addressed that deficiency, and then it appeared again, that's not counted as a prior year deficiency. The deficiency has to be in back-to-back years. So if you can share that with me, I'd be glad to take a look at that. And one other thing I would say is there were over 5,000 things noted in the report. And these are human beings walking through, taking a look at all of these, every single school and every single room in each of those schools, and then putting all that data together. And the data that you see is compiled from software. We're not required to use that software. We were lucky enough to find a piece of software that we can compile this data on. It doesn't have to be on spreadsheets like some districts do. But yeah, with over 5,000 entries on that, I'm sure there was a mistake or two. Humans are doing this work.
Thank you. Ms. Edmond?
Thank you. Mr. Kapersky, would you please share with board members what our responsibility is as it relates to this item? It is documented in the background and rationale.
Sure. The Madam Chair, board members, so it does indicate the legal, statutory, and regulatory guidance and authority for this, and the State Board rule on this does say that a plan and schedule for correction of any deficiencies shall be adopted by the board. And so that is why the board is getting this item. It may not necessarily have to be in this exact format, but a plan and a schedule to address deficiencies, as noted in the rule, will be adopted by the school board.
Thank you, Mr. Kapersky. So that indeed states that it is our duty to vote on this document. Mr. Herbick, Would you confirm whether or not the template is a state template or a district-created template?
The state requires no template, and so it is a district-created template from software that we have purchased.
Thank you. So knowing what the state requires and that this is a district-created template that is missing items that we are expected to vote on, I am still not in support of this item. And then as it relates to the buildings and rooms and specific years, that was the reason why I requested the prior years, so that I could make sure, because I noticed 0 previous cited in almost all of the documents. So that's why I double checked. And for example, during the 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25 school year, the administration building was cited for a moderate priority deficiency regarding the curtains, labels, and ensuring that they have a certificate verifying that they're flame retardant. And this is for room 126E. There are also schools with specific buildings and numbers. So I do understand that there are individuals doing this work. However, as it's presented to us, it is inaccurate and incomplete. That concludes my discussion.
Any other discussion or questions? Ms. Kane?
Yes, I just wanted to, I don't think I'm working. But I wanted to ask Mr. Herbig, just as a clarification while we're having the discussion, when we have these inspections and our fire departments are signing off, they do return to verify that the deficiencies have been corrected if they're noted during the report.
Absolutely. When these deficiencies are noted on this software, there's 2 things. And first, before I forget, there is a column that for prior year deficiencies. We don't fill out that column anymore. We found it more effective. And in fact, some of our people who use the form, our HPOs, our general managers, and some of our people in maintenance department have requested that the prior year notice be included in that middle box in the comment box. That's where their eyes go on that form. That's where they see it, and they can see that a whole lot clearer. And we respected their request to include that year in that box and saw no reason to duplicate that in the prior year column. But you are correct. Once an inspection is completed, and this is part of the plan that that the board is adopting as part of our plan on what we do with these. The HPO has 30 days to put in a work order. Once that work order is put in, we then go and re-inspect. 30 days after that, we have to re-inspect each of those schools to make sure those deficiencies have been addressed or to make sure the work order is put in. Part of that process also includes the principal signs off on that and make sure that those work orders were put in and those deficiencies that are marked as an O, things like the power cords, have been addressed. And then, again, the maintenance department then takes on those work orders and completes those.
Thank you.
I think I would mention my comments. Two things come to mind. One, that our buildings are safe, that they're in compliance with the NFPA, they're in compliance with the Florida Building Code. They've had the fire inspectors out, building inspectors out, people have reviewed, repaired, and that our buildings are safe. So hearing what you just said, you're saying all the deficiencies as required are repaired within the 30 days. So our buildings are safe and up to date. These might be older reports that were done throughout the year, but all those things have been updated. And it's just a matter of one time a year putting them on the agenda for us to approve getting them to the state. Is that a true statement?
Yes, I just want to make one point of clarification. We don't have 30 days to repair them. They have 30 days to put in the work order, and then we repair them afterwards. But a lot of the things that the school does, the things that are marked as an O, which is a majority of the items, are repaired within those 30 days. The HPO or the principal addresses those, and then we make a note of that during the reinspection if that was actually addressed. And then we are able to tackle the work orders.
Okay, thank you. And then as far as there being a missing item, that there's an item that we're supposed to vote on that is missing, is that an item, you said that there was a plan, required to submit a plan to address, and that was missing, is that correct?
No, I don't believe it's missing. The report that you have notates for each deficiency the code that Mr. Herbeck noted. It's either O for operation, M for maintenance, or C for capital outlay. And so each one of those has a designated time frame within which it must be corrected. So approving the report that's been presented to you is approving the plan to address. And I believe, as Mr. Herbeck said, this is just a moment in time, and that probably most of these have already been addressed.
Right, okay. So the document in front of us is compliant with state statute and regulations?
Yes. As I understand, Ms. Edmonds' concern is that she may believe that may be inaccurate in one or more places.
Okay.
But yeah, what is in front of you is sufficient to meet the board's obligation to adopt this.
Thank you. Ms. Edmond, you had additional?
Yes. Based on Mr. Herbeck's remarks, it appears that there are some items on the template that the board is not required to vote on. I would recommend that the district creates a template that meets state statute and only includes what the board is required to vote on.
So we could look at a new template in the future. Maybe for tonight, we could vote on this, and then for next year or in the future, perhaps look at a new template.
Yeah, this particular template, having done this 9 years as a high school principal and had pages and pages, this is actually functional for the school. And so that's actually what this one is designed for. The template itself, most of these things get done. As you can see, there's chords. They get done in the moment, right? And this is a regular way of work, and it's been done that way. I saw Ms. Woodford note the recommendation, so we'll take a look to see if that is possible without creating undue burden. But what is there is actually functional for the school.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrick. Again, just to reiterate what's functional and what may appear to be the board is voting on something that's inaccurate or incomplete. I hope that's heard. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, it has been noted, as I said, and I'm saying also we don't agree with that assertion, that this actually does meet the requirements and is functional.
Thank you. Board members, any other discussion before we take a vote? Ms. Kane?
No, I think we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve item 7.24. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 5-1. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda, item 8.1, approve the apprenticeship training agreement with Livingstone Academy, Inc., doing business as Florida Trade Academy. May I have a motion and a second to approve item 8.1?
Move for approval.
Motion by Mrs. Kane and a second by Ms. Blacksburg. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know the board is aware of a number of apprenticeship agreements that we have, including one with St. Petersburg College. But tonight we have a new one that Mr. Hunt and his team have been working on. And so I'll call up Mark Hunt, Executive Director of Career Technical and Adult Education, to give the board and the public an overview of this particular agreement. Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Hendrick. Madam Chair, board members, staff. This is an agreement that helps us expand our current apprenticeship program. Currently, we serve a little over 1,100 apprentices every year, and this agreement represents an additional 50, with the potential to go to about 250 is the estimate. It is an unusual agreement so far for us because it is an online apprenticeship program that the Florida Trade Academy operates, and Pinellas Technical College will act as the local education agency responsible for data verification, data management, data reporting, and also responsible for any audits related to the apprenticeship down the road that may occur. We generate revenue for each apprentice, roughly $4,510 a year for each apprentice. And as you see, the agreement requires a payment to Florida Trade Academy from that revenue. Essentially, we are splitting that revenue with them because they are accepting the entire burden of the educational program, teacher salary, equipment, learning materials, that sort of thing, coordinators, that sort of thing. Our responsibility is primarily for that data management and security, and we offered up a computer classroom for them down the road, because as we expand, we're hoping that they will do industry certifications with those apprentices, which will further increase some revenue back to the school district.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Board members, any discussion? Ms. Edmond?
Thank you, Mr. Hunt, and your team for reaching out to others and strengthening our workforce in the trade experience. This virtual opportunity will be able to expand the opportunities available for people, whether they're able to appear in person or if virtual options are their priority or what they would like to, would like to participate in. So thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we have a motion and second on the floor to approve item 8.1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Agenda item 8.2, request approval to advertise the preliminary budgets, millage rates, and public hearing dates for the district's 2025-26 budget. May I have a motion and a second to approve item 8.2? A motion from Mrs. Long and a second from Ms. Edmond. Mr. Hendrick, would you please introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome to the start of our 25-26 budget hearing cycle. And as you know, the procedure by which the school district presents its fiscal budget to the board and public is governed by state statute. And Mr. Jeppesen, our Chief Financial Officer, is going to give the board and public a brief discussion of the timeline and general process for you this evening. Mr. Jeppesen.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrick. As you mentioned, State Statute 200.065 requires that the school board to advertise the preliminary budget, proposed millage rate, and the scheduled dates for our public hearings concerning the district's 2025-26 budget. This advertisement must be published in the newspaper of general circulation in the county no more than 5 days and no less than 2 days before holding the first public hearing. As such, this advertisement will be published in the Tampa Bay Times on Sunday, July 27th. The first public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, July 29th at 6:30 p.m., and the second public hearing is scheduled for September 9th at 6:30 p.m. These dates comply with the statutory requirement to hold the final hearing within 65 to 80 days of the July 1st certification of the tax rolls for the county, but not earlier than 65 days after that certification. Approval of this request is necessary to ensure compliance with the truth in millage process, which is designed to inform taxpayers about the taxes that they're paying and the entities levying those taxes. This process ensures transparency and allows the public to have input on the proposed budget and millage rates before the final adoption. I respectfully request your approval of this agenda item to proceed with the advertising of the preliminary budget, proposed millage rates, and public hearing dates as outlined.
Thank you, Mr. Jeppesen. Board members, any discussion? I think Mr. Hendrick said it well by saying, welcome to the start of the 25-26 budget season with this first vote tonight, and then I look forward to the workshop in June and further on as we actually get into the budget for the coming school year. Seeing no other discussion, we'll take a vote on item 8.2. We have a motion and a second to approve it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. God bless you. New business. Items introduced by the superintendent. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was indeed wonderful. Celebrating our graduations recently. Not sure you hear me here. Try that one more time. There we go. It was great, wonderful, in celebrating our graduations in the video that we saw. I want to thank our school board members for attending all 26 graduations that we held. I also want to give a special thanks to the city of Clearwater for assisting us with the outdoor at Coachman Park there, the Baycare Sound. I want to also thank Ruth Eckerd Hall, the University of South Florida, Tampa, and others for partnering with us to host our graduation ceremonies. While we will not have an official graduation rate till sometime in December or January, I can tell you that due to the nearly 6,500 hands that you shook a couple of weeks ago, we are well on our way to increasing our graduation rate from the prior year. Coming up in a few weeks at our June workshop, as was just mentioned, we'll begin our budget cycle and we'll provide the board and the public a draft budget. We'll also be providing the board an update on our strategic plan, and we will be beginning year 3 of the strategic plan and give you a little bit of an update on how we'll look at the next version of our strategic plan that we'll need to develop over the course of the next 12 months. We'll also provide an update on student achievement results from this last school year. Although we just voted on setting the budget dates, we are still, of course, waiting on a final budget from Tallahassee. I know that you're tracking that as well as I am and our staff. We did see some changes in some things that we've been advocating for, including full funding for the add-on weights for advanced placement, IB, Cambridge, and industry certifications in a new categorical. However, that new categorical takes money from the base student allocation in order to create that. And so I don't know that that's new funding, it's just a shift in funding. Currently, the increase in the base student allocation based on the runs that we've seen midday today is less than 1%. We know that it's going to be a difficult budget year for school districts, and as a result, we are preparing our budget accordingly. To some more positive news, summer learning is going on. Summer Bridge is now in its second week with over 5,000 students participating, or nearly 5,000 students in elementary Summer Bridge and several thousand participating in middle school and high school programs. This week, we also kicked off our summer camps with 8 programs this week, ranging from a construction camp just for girls to a mural making camp and a culinary camp. We also are hosting our 2-week Ignite Arts Camp featuring a diverse range of activities in music, dance, and theater. Also for our families, we have posted on our website a whole list of summer learning resources from math, reading lists, book lists, and more. Check out those resources on our website. I want to thank the board for supporting a number of events recently, including the celebration of a first-year rookie teachers event that we held on Friday, May 30th, celebrating our first-year teachers. The event was held at PTC Clearwater with a breakfast, keynote speaker, and various activities. And recently also celebrating 120 substitute teachers of the year who were chosen by their individual schools. The substitute teachers filled 65,000 vacancies this past year across support and instructional positions. And I want to thank the Pinellas Education Foundation for supporting that event. And a reminder to our staff and students and anybody with the Pinellas County Schools ID, you can ride the PSTA bus for free all summer long. And I know our students are out there doing that now. And finally, Madam Chair, I want to recognize an employee as a superintendent standout, as I do at every meeting. And this meeting's employee standout is Justin Coates, who's a programmer analyst in our Technology and Information Services Department. He was actually recognized by 2 different people with a PCS Praise Note in the last couple weeks. One from our Elementary Language Arts and Reading Department, who wanted to thank him for helping all year long with an integrated app that he developed to help students and teachers manage reading rates, as well as the kindergarten report card. He was also recognized by our Exceptional Student Education Department for his development of an application to help support Medicaid funding and helping 500 different employees who submit timesheets for Medicaid and reimbursement. And both individuals said that Justin is always responsive to feedback and helping make things run more smoothly. Thank you to Justin and all of our employees for the work they do each and every day. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That's very interesting. Love to hear the cutting edge new ideas and application development in-house. That's excellent. Items introduced by the school board attorney, Mr. Kapersky.
I have no report. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Items introduced by the board. Any board members? Ms. Edmond?
Thank you. Okay. So it was really great to see the exciting faces and just proud moments of everybody celebrating graduation. So to echo Superintendent Hendrick's comments as well as yours, Ms. Hines, it was really special to see how everyone came together, and our communications team and everyone who helped pulled off the graduations. It was really great. And next, I'd like to talk about some of the things that we voted on today. Usually I ask questions regarding the things that we're going to vote on and provide some commentary at the end. And I just want to acknowledge our grants department as well as Ms. Dolan team for submitting the request for the Title I grants, the federal grants, and as well as letting us know what the plan would be if there's a reduction in funds or if those funds don't come through. I think that it's very important to have a backup plan, and it's appreciated that that initiative is occurring here at PCS. Also, we voted on some administrative positions as well as acknowledge the retirement of several people. And I just want to congratulate all of the individuals who have worked many years with the district, helping to support the vision of 100% student success. And on our agenda, the approval of Chief Williams' retirement, which occurred on June 3rd, is noted. So I just want to thank him and everyone for their service, as well as say congratulations. Also, on May 27th, I participated in this board meeting virtually due to driving to Broward County with some of our consortium members to meet with U.S. Department of Education Deputy Secretary Penny Schwinn. The dialogue was generally productive. We were able to ask questions, express concerns, provide information, as well as receive information. At our workshop or individually with Superintendent Hendrick, I'll share an update, more detailed update on that meeting. Also, the consortium is going to establish a federal legislative committee due to our ability to have a meeting with Deputy Schwinn, and I think it's going to be very productive. Just having the opportunity to ask questions, address concerns, and get clarification on what's happening on a federal level with education. There will also be a hurricane committee and an AI committee. All of that information will be discussed at our next consortium meeting, which will occur on June 12th. That information is available through Mrs. Hauk if you don't have it. And I invite you all to attend our business meeting as well as our dinner meeting, which occurs afterwards. It's going to be a great time. And also, tomorrow starts the FSBA FADS conference, and there are lots of opportunities for professional development and networking. As the chair of FSBA's Equity Committee, I'll be facilitating my last meeting as chair tomorrow at 10:45. And we're going to have Odyssey of the Mind presenters from Lee County. And today we just noticed that we recognize students from our own county who are excelling in that program. So if you're interested in learning more about Odyssey of the Mind, feel free to come to our meeting tomorrow. And then last but not least, I just want to go back to my comments regarding the administration approval. And my intention on having Mr. Kapersky speak to the state statute is not only so board members are aware, but the public is aware of our role in that process. So again, I want to thank Mr. Kapersky for his comment on that. And I look forward to having further discussions regarding the recommendation I made to have procedures in writing. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to mention before I go on to other board members, we will talk about the FSBA Advocacy Committee as well as our own legislative committee after we're finished with other board comments as well. But Mrs. Long?
Yes, I just want to add my comments about graduation. I've been around a long time, I think this is my 43rd year in this district. I was so impressed with how well the graduations went, but I was most impressed with the students. This was an incredible group of kids. They looked at, well, the graduations I did, they looked at me in the face, they shook my hand, they talked to me a little bit. It was incredible. Even our special needs students made an attempt and wanted to do like their peers. That's an incredible sign, because you see everything going on in our world and you think, oh, but my faith has been replenished this year watching these graduations. And I was very impressed of the number of students who have signed up for our armed services. It was extremely impressive this year. A lot of Marines, and those were a lot of women, the girls signing up for that, the Navy, the Army. It was incredible. So if you're ever feeling down, watch some of these graduations and watch the valedictorians as they speak. Incredible speeches. And you learn so much about what kids in Pinellas County, how they push themselves ahead to graduate. And to graduate with such self-esteem really touched my heart. So graduates, if any of you are listening, I was so impressed. This is a bright future, and it really made me feel good. It put my faith back. And I was at the search graduation. This is something new. It's, I think, the second or third year. Our school district takes seniors that have a disability, and they bring them part of the day to the district office to work jobs. And they're kind of like an apprenticeship, okay? Our different departments, for one, the art department took a young lady under her wing, and just amazed at what she could do now and how she spoke. This is an excellent program that hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but as a mom of a special needs child, this is incredible. It gives hope for those kids that, aren't quite ready for junior college or Pinellas Technical College, but they're ready to go in the workforce. There were 12 graduates, and as of the graduation, 3 were still interviewing, and all the rest received jobs. That says a lot. So those that are working with the search department, or any of you that in this building take an apprentice, take one of these children and work with them, you're doing an incredible thing, and you're helping the kids. And so for that, I'm thankful.
Thank you, Eileen. Ms. Blacksburg?
Ms. Edmonds, you said that you were going to share with us the results of your meeting in our next workshop, the one that you went to with the consortium? Okay. All right. I just wanted to, again, kind of echo everyone else and congratulate all of our graduates, but especially our staff here. Changing, after the hurricanes to different venues, I saw firsthand what a huge lift this was for our staff and the ease in which they did it. And it just seemed very seamless, going from one graduation with hundreds of kids and families right into the next one. And so we thank you so much, because I think everyone was able to feel really individualized and special during those graduations. I'd like to also thank some of our electeds that showed up at those graduations: Clearwater Mayor Bruce Rector, Clearwater City Commission, City Councilman Mike Menino, as well as Representative Lindsay Cross. I'm sure there were some other ones, but the ones that I attended. So we appreciate them taking time out of their busy schedule to be there. And while we're celebrating, I just wanted to make mention, a student at Dunedin Highland Middle School, Darian Grob, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is currently competing in the National History Day competition. He is a finalist. He is the only one out of the entire state of Florida that's competing right now. I think he's, yep, it's about 6:15. So, yep, he's competing now. So we wish him lots of luck, and we hope that we get to congratulate him on a big win. So.
Thank you, Ms. Blacksburg. Mrs. Kane?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of my colleagues for all of the words. I'm echoing the same sentiment about graduations, but I have a couple of things just to add to it. What an incredible time I had at all of the graduations. I love listening to the valedictorian speeches. I felt like Palm Harbor High School, our speech was so indicative of the feeling of the year. She really nailed it. It was just a lot about coming back from being behind, a lot of pushing forward from where you are. And it was really nice to hear because it wasn't, the same speech over and over about, you see someone who's successful and then you expect them to be successful and they are. But it was about somebody who really struggled to make it there and really had to push to get to where she was. And it was really inspiring to everybody listening because no matter where you're sitting, she started her speech off talking about having a less than a 2.0 in 10th grade, coming back from that, never believing she could be the valedictorian and then achieving that incredible goal. So really inspired, I think, everyone in the crowd and also me standing on stage listening to her. I was really in awe at what an incredible journey she had to make it there and to be on that stage in one of our biggest high schools in the district too. So it's just fantastic. Graduations all around. Also to note and dovetail off of what Ms. Blacksburg was talking about, all of these amazing winners, I think it really speaks to our plan of student experience in this district. We have winners all over the place, not just in competitions, but incredible experiences. Those are memories that our students are going to take with them for a lifetime. Tonight's room is proof of that. Our graduations were proof of that. I mean, the list of things that students have accomplished and done and experienced throughout this year is growing by the minute, and I just love seeing that. And I think, congrats to my colleagues too, because we talked a lot about this when we wanted that student experience to be such a focal point of the plan for the district, and we're seeing that come to life. So thank you, staff, thank you, teachers, thank you, school administrators, and everybody it takes to put these things together, because it is a lot of work, but we're doing it, and I think that it's going to reap benefits well into the future for not only those students, their lives, but the school district as well. It's going to continue to help us grow. And so with that, I'll leave that there. Over the last month, it's been very busy because besides graduations, I've also been on a couple of different committees that have met, our calendar committees, putting together a calendar for 26-27 year. We're meeting a second time next week. And I also got my first sit-in on our referendum arts committee. That was very interesting, and I am excited. It gave me a lot of ideas to take back to that district strategic plan meeting. I'm looking forward to it. But I got to see a lot more detail of where our arts funding and money is going specifically. And not that I hadn't already seen it, but it gave me a little more detail than some of the other reports. So it was really, really wonderful. And with that, I want to thank you all so much, and hopefully everyone is having a wonderful and relaxing summer so far and for the future. So for you, Ms. Heim.
Thank you for all of those updates. So a couple of things we need to talk about this evening. As Ms. Edmond mentioned, this week is the FSBA conference over in Tampa, starting tomorrow with a few things, and then really Thursday and Friday. One of the things we need to decide is the FSBA Advocacy Committee. We need a representative and an alternate. This past year, the representative has been Ms. Edmond, and the alternate has been Mrs. Kane. And so we'll talk tonight about who would like to be the representative and alternate for the coming year. We will also talk about, for our own Pinellas County Schools Legislative Committee, what 3 members would like to serve on that committee. And as we said earlier, we are entering the budget season. We'll also enter the legislative committee season sooner because it's an earlier session year. And so looking at the calendar, it looks like it could be as soon as the August workshop that we would like to have a discussion about the Pinellas County Schools legislative platform. So the folks that raise their hand to be on the legislative committee would need to meet this summer a couple of times to work on what that draft platform would be. And then, of course, we would work on it as a board August and September. So wanted to mention that. So I've given enough preamble to give you time to think. Would anybody like to volunteer to be the FSBA Advocacy Committee representative or alternate? Mrs. Kane.
I can't serve as the member, I believe, because I'm on the board of directors already.
Okay.
And I like to leave that for someone else, but I'm willing to be the alternate if there's not another volunteer.
Okay.
Anybody want to do?
Go ahead.
Ms.
You have your.
I was going to say alternate.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Blacksburg?
Yeah. She's shaking her head. She's like, yes, I'll do it.
Be the representative,
Yes.
FSBA Advocacy Committee, Advocacy Committee representative. Okay. Ms. Edmond, I know you're currently serving in that role. I don't know if you have anything to, tell Ms. Blacksburg about her next steps and such.
There are several meetings. They are mostly Zoom, and then when we have conferences, there are in-person meetings. It's very informative. A lot of the report back is what we receive when we hear from Megan Fay. I do think it's helpful to hear from other board members and districts regarding what they're facing or what their thoughts are regarding high priority legislation. And we do, when session is in, we receive weekly emails, updates, and those are some of the things I thought you were receiving, but eventually started having forwarded to you. But yeah, there are a lot of meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Black. So Ms. Blacksburg will be the FSBA Advocacy Committee representative, and Mrs. Kane will be the alternate. Ms. Hauk?
Ms. Hine, just to make sure, if we can check in with the member on Zoom, Mrs. Meyer, to see if she has any input on this or the next item.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Mrs. Meyer?
Yes, thank you so much. I do have some input on the next item.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, before we get there, so I'm not sure who the alternate, I didn't get that, who the alternate.
Mrs. Kane, Lisa
Okay.
Kane.
And then, so we'll need to take a motion and a second, and we can do that appointment of both people in one motion and second. So if somebody would just like to move that Ms. Blacksburg be the representative and Mrs. Kane be the alternate, we take a second and vote.
I like to make a motion that Mrs. Blacksburg would be the representative of the advocacy committee and Mrs. Kane would be the alternate.
Okay, we'll treat that as a second. I heard a motion from Ms. Long.
Okay, so a motion from Mrs. Long and a second from Ms. Edmond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you. So for the Pinellas County Schools Legislative Committee, are there school board members interested in serving on that? I am.
I am.
Ms. Kane.
Madam Chair, I am interested in
Ms.
serving on
Blacksburg,
that.
Ms. Meyer. Okay, well, I guess.
No problem.
And Ms. Edmond.
Well, is there a rule that we have to have?
I think there's a rule that I think, or
What
it's
is
good
the rule?
practice to be 3 because of a majority.
There is no hard and fast law that says you cannot have that. We notice these to the public, and so there's not a sunshine necessarily issue, but we've always tried to keep less than a majority so that the major issues can just be at the traditional regular board meetings and school board workshops.
And we do
that
all
was the
have
reason why it was 3 or less on these committees.
Thank you. We do all have the opportunity to weigh in, of course, when we discuss it along the way.
No, I'll back up.
Okay. So Ms. Blacksburg, Ms. Meyer, Ms. Edmond, and I would all 4 like to serve on it. Are y'all gonna make me not do it? Because of course I will. Okay. Okay. So we'll let it be Ms. Blacksburg, Ms. Edmond, and Ms. Meyer. Mrs. Blacksburg, could I appoint you chair of that committee, of
Sure.
the Pinellas County Schools Legislative
I'd be happy
Committee?
to.
Thank you. Do we take a vote on this? No. Okay. Thank you. So we have the 3 members of the Pinellas County Schools Legislative Committee would be Ms. Edmond. Is there a problem, Ms. Edmond?
No.
Okay. So the 3 members would be Ms. Edmond, Ms. Blacksburg, and Mrs. Meyer. And the chair of the committee will be Ms. Blacksburg. Any other questions or comments?
When will we decide when we're first meeting?
That will be, Ms. Houck, you and Ms. Blacksburg can get
Apparently that's on
together. Yeah, it is. So we had drafted some dates, some ideas about, so again, the August 19th workshop is likely when we should first discuss the platform as a group so that we have time to get input, work on it, and that we would potentially vote on it at our September 9th school board meeting. So that then in late September, early October, we could host the Pinellas delegation. And the sooner we can get that Pinellas delegation meeting on their calendars, the more successful we are at actually holding it. So really backing up from that date is an important part of the process. And so that's a recommendation.
From next week's workshop, right?
No, the August 19th workshop, I think, is when you would want to present.
No, when we're going to discuss.
Right, in next
Okay.
week's
Okay.
workshop, you could bring up some dates.
That's fine.
Or really among the 3, Ms.
I'll
Houck?
work with you.
Yeah.
They would likely need to meet sooner than the workshop, because it's not next week, it's the following week. So we would want to get a meeting as quickly as we can. We'll work with.
Yes. So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
Leanna Eisen, our Director of Strategic Planning and Policy, who's heading up and will work with you to draft the platform. She was anxiously awaiting tonight's discussion. She'll be reaching out to you, Ms. Blacksburg,
Okay.
to say, let's set up some dates. We typically try to choose one pretty soon, and then the second one is normally the same date as the leadership kickoff for the year. That's in July, late July, which is already on your calendar, and you normally just meet that day. And then if there's needed a third meeting before the workshop, we would do it then. And as was mentioned, one of the key things is getting with the delegation chair to figure out when and where and how to make those requests known.
Okay.
Okay. So as we mentioned, FSBA is this week, and then it's June 24th is our next workshop, as well as a board meeting, both in the same day, Tuesday, June 24th. Any other questions or discussion this evening?
Yes, Mrs. Hine.
Yes?
Also worth noting is the consortium's legislative planning dates for the platform is August 28th and August 29th. Typically, we have our platform voted on so that we're able to take our approved recommendations and advocate for them at the Greater Florida Consortium's meeting. So that may need to be considered with the timeline. Thank you.
You can discuss that with the committee.
Happy to. We'll work it out.
Any other discussion? All right, good. We're adjourned. Thank you. We will move to public comment. Mrs. Houck, do we have any public speakers this evening?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, and there may be none, but just the review of board requests.
That's right, of course. Thank you. Item 9.4, review of board requests. Ms. Woodford?
Yes, Madam Chair, I noted Ms. Edmonds' request that we consider creating a new template for the annual fire, health, and safety inspections.
Thank you. Now we'll adjourn and move to public comment. Do we have public speakers, Mrs. Houck?
Yes, Madam Chair, there are 3 speakers this evening.
Thank you. We're now moving to receiving public comment on the general business of the district. Please note that the views and comments of the public speakers are their own and are not endorsed nor sponsored by the school board or district. We cannot ensure the accuracy of statements made, but will review concerns that are raised and take appropriate action, which may include clarifications or the referral of speakers to the proper staff member for assistance. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after a speaker's comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Additionally, please note that although board members or Superintendent Hendrick may leave the dais briefly, there are speakers in the back room, and we will continue to be able to hear your comments. Thank you. Mrs. Houck?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first 2 speakers are Fred DeFelice and Mark Clutho.
What a fantastic meeting to come to. I am a Pinellas County school bus driver. And probably I'm a relief driver, so I probably drove some of those kids here that were here today, or at least I've been to their schools. And you know, sports teams as well. I have a concern about relief drivers. When I started in the county, I'm a little nervous, but April 2018. And in August of 2020, I became a relief driver. At that particular time, relief drivers were paid an extra $1 more than any other bus drivers, say. Since that time, now that was for 2 years. COVID came to town, and then we did something else, and we made another position that was called bus driver relief, and gave those people $1 as well. But there's a difference between the two jobs. What they do is help out when they can. As a relief driver, I work for dispatch, and they give me an assignment, and at some point, that assignment changes, either because of an accident or, you know, a driver got sick or any, you know, all kinds of stuff. So on the fly, I got to figure out where I'm going next. So that's where bus drivers or relief drivers should be, you know, was entitled to that $1. I've been advocating for this for 3 years, but this is my first time coming to the board. I've been told, you know, come up with a new terminology because it's the verbiage, you know, and how the verbiage got changed, I don't know, because in the contract of 2021 to 2024, it states that relief drivers get $1 more. That's not the case for the last 3 years. So it's because of the verbiage. If the verbiage has to change, it was brought to my attention that there is a position with the clerks, I guess, or secretaries, and there's a clerk 1, clerk 2, clerk 3, clerk 4, and they're all a different pay scale. So my proposal would be you have CDL trainers, which already now get paid more than the rest of the bus drivers, but they also transport students, so you know they're up there. Then you have lead drivers. You know, maybe they should be on the next level. Then relief drivers, and then you have your regular bus drivers. So, you know, it created a problem between all the bus drivers.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was the 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Mark Lutho, Largo. What a joke. Your superintendent says, an individual. This is supposed to be a school board meeting. And then I hear this stuff. Oh, wonderful. We need more warriors. And now, a defense bill, $1 trillion. The worst form of welfare. Let me remind you again that book from General Smedley Butler, War is a Racket. Awarded 2 Medals of Honor. Why don't you fools read that book? War is a Racket. Oh man, I could tell you my experiences in the military. Definitely a racket. I'll tell you, you people are sick. Yeah, the military is the worst form of welfare. No doubt about it. Back to the headlines. Brace for heat. Records to be broken. Coasts face crises as land sinks and seas rise. at-risk real estate across the U.S. could total billions. What do you think about that? We're heading into hurricane season unprepared. Yeah. And why are Confederate Civil War leaders honored with holidays in Florida? What are you teaching here? Are you teaching the right history? I doubt it seriously. And then we have these supposed top grads with their ideas about hurricane prep. Talk about a joke. Oh, man. I don't really have time to get into this now, but you aren't getting the prep right. What you're doing is you're making for the hurricanes. You're making the hurricanes bigger and badder.
The next speaker is Sharon Ambrose.
Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address all of you. My name is Sharon Ambrose, and I'm a very proud fifth grade ELA teacher at New Heights Elementary. I've been an educator for 22 years and have served many roles in both Hillsborough County and here in Pinellas County. But by far, my first love is teaching. I'm a passionate reading and writing teacher, and I invite all of you to come visit my classroom at any time. I'm here today to speak about health insurance. A change was made last year, and I want to make sure everyone understands how it is impacting employees, or at least how it directly impacts me. I have a rare eye cancer called ocular melanoma. It was treated with plaque radiation almost 15 years ago. I developed radiation retinopathy from the treatment, and about 5 years ago, the ocular oncologist I see in Miami determined that I could lose my vision if the retinopathy was not treated with monthly eye injections. I see a retina specialist locally who's able to administer the injections, and I go to Miami twice a year for follow-up with the ocular oncologist. I schedule all of my appointments around the school calendar and school days so I don't miss any instructional time for appointments. I have always paid a $60 copay for office visits, and the injections were covered by insurance. This past January, I started getting bills from my ocular oncologist and retina specialist for hundreds of dollars. After numerous phone calls, I found out that in-office surgeries are now carry a copay of $250. That was not an Aetna decision, but a decision made by the school board. I assumed to cut down on costs to the school district. My monthly eye injections are considered in-office surgeries, a medically necessary treatment to maintain vision in my eye that used to cost me $60 now costs $310 a month. Several months ago, it became obvious to me that I would need to get a second job so as not to go into medical debt. I'm a highly effective teacher who cares deeply about all of the students who come into my classroom. I feel like I'm making a difference in the lives of children, but I am tired. I work a second job to pay for a medically necessary treatment for a rare disease that I have through no fault of my own. If this injection was necessary due to a medical condition I could control, believe me, I would control it and not need the injections. I currently pay approximately $2,000 a year for medical insurance through the school district, and the annual cost for the eye injections alone are an additional $3,720. This does not include any other doctor's visits or procedures that I may need throughout the year. Since I'm addressing what I see as a problem, I'd like to offer and be part of the solution. I'm sure the planning for the 2026 insurance coverage will be starting soon. I'd like to recommend that in-office surgery costs are lowered if possible, and I'd like to offer to meet with the team putting together the plans to share some insight into the costs incurred by patients with chronic health conditions that require ongoing medical treatments. Thank you for your time.
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening.